Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan. Once again, today we're going to be doing another manga review. Today we're going to be looking at Spy Family. We're going to be looking at the 6th arc in the series called the Doggy Crisis arc, which is actually all contained within this volume right here, right? So volume 4 is the Doggy Crisis arc. Well, technically there's also 2 short stories here that don't necessarily fall within this arc, but since they're in this volume, I'm just going to put them here because I don't really feel like going through and having to come back to different volumes just to read specific little stories going forward, right? So I'm just going to mention the little short stories whenever they show up in volumes as I'm reading them to read the arcs, right? So yeah, in terms of who wrote this, well, it's Tetsuya Endo, who does a great job. He has 2 other series on the Shonen Jump app that you can read. You can also buy them physically. There's Moonblade Princess, and I forgot the name of the other one. I think it's Tista, something like that. And as far as I understand it, Tista is a version of Spy Family that was not really successful. And the Moonblade Princess is something different, right? It's more like yours kind of like story, right? Or something similar to that, right? And so Spy Family is kind of like a culmination of both of his previous works, right? So you might want to read them in case, you know, like out of curiosity for the things that eventually turned into Spy Family, but I'm not sure that they're going to be that good. As far as I understand it, Tista's pretty bad, and I'm not too sure about the Moonblade Princess one, but it doesn't really matter. It's published by Viz Media, of course. It's on the Shonen Jump app if you want to read it that way, if you want to save some money. I would have done that, but I decided that I liked the series enough that I wanted to pick it up physically, right? And so I decided to do that, and it's alongside Mashal and Kaiju number 8. It's one of the few Shonen Jump series that I actually pick up, right? So yeah, in terms of demographics, it's a shonen, obviously, and in terms of genre, it's an action comedy, right? And it has an adaptation, obviously. It's all within season 1. I think it's like episodes like 6 through 7 or something like that. It's quite a short chapter, so it's pretty easy to cover this in the anime, and I think it's done pretty well, right? And the rating for this arc is a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it, but it's not necessarily my favorite, although there was some interesting stuff here that was happening kind of throughout it, right? So yeah, the premise of this arc is basically that Anya got her Stella, the first one out of 7 that she needs, I think, and so she wants a reward because Becky, or whatever her name is, the girl that she's friends with, told her, you know, when I get, you know, good grades, my parents give me a reward, right? So Anya asks for one, and Lloyd thinks it's a good idea, so he's like, okay, what do you want? And Anya wants a dog, and so we have this crazy bit of shenanigans here where they're on their way to get a dog, and then hijinks ensues, and they get embroiled in this crazy situation with like terrorists, and like it's really weird, but it's really funny, right? So yeah, there you go. That's the premise there. In terms of plotline here, basically it starts out with the Westalian delegates arriving from Westalia into Estonia for the Ministerial Summit, which is a kind of like a meeting in order to kind of maintain the peace between these 2 countries, or these 2 sides of the same country. I'm not really sure how it works. And Lloyd decides to take the family to this big pound / like animal adoption convention type thing. But Anya doesn't really like any of the spy dogs that Lloyd kind of set out for her, right? So like all of the ones that are taken care of by Wise, she didn't like any of them, so they have to go somewhere else, right? So Lloyd gets called away while this is happening. He says he had horrible indigestion or something, so he has to go to the restroom, and he basically spends the whole time at the restroom during this arc, right? And it turns out that a bunch of college-age kids are trying to start war with the Westalian delegates again by creating this this attack at the Ministerial Summit. And it's supposed to be some sort of like terrorist attack, right? They want to use these dogs that they trained, put these like shock collars on them, and these bombs attached to them so that the dogs get in and then explode and cause this kind of crazy situation, right? And it's actually like the way that the story is told, it's supposed to be kind of funny and ridiculous, right? But realistically, that is an insanely fucked up plot line to have on this like really child friendly like wannabe story, right? And it's really ridiculous. That juxtaposition is kind of funny and odd, right? But it works really well. And so Lloyd has to figure out who they are, what they want, why they're doing this, and then stop them, right? And so that's it. This is why he's kind of away the whole time. And so Anya and Yor are having fun, you know, throughout this event that they're going to, where they're all the dogs. And then Anya ends up finding a big ass dog with powers, and he has clairvoyance. He can see into the future to an extent at certain conditions, or during certain times for certain conditions, in order to kind of have this. And of course, Anya, since she can read his mind, she can see what the hell he's seeing, right? And it's quite good. I really like the synergy between these two characters, because it adds this level of like of connection between the two of them that goes beyond the fact that, you know, it's a girl and her dog. It's also like a girl and her friend, and also a girl that wants to be a spy and her special partner, right? So I like that. I think it's really fun. I really enjoy how that kind of works out. And so Anya gets caught by the guys that are creating this this bomb attack, and then Yor freaks out and she runs around looking for Anya, but she can't find her. And Anya and the dog join forces to escape, to try to get out of there. Yor manages to save them, and then the dog shares this premonition with Anya to tell her, hey, this is what's going to happen. Your dad might be in danger. Let's go try to save him, right? And so they run off to try to save Lloyd. Well, it's pretty fun how this is happening at this point. We move on to another scene here where the spies, all of Y's agents that are working with Lloyd here, manage to capture most of the terrorists, right? Except for the leader. And so Lloyd has to go after them. And Anya helps him avoid a trap, because she got there at right before he did, right? And so she helps him avoid a trap that might have killed him, which is quite good. This is also a plot point that gets mentioned, or like a thing that happens in the movie as well, right? So that's pretty cool. You guys should go watch the movie if you haven't. It's really enjoyable. And Lloyd manages to get the leader, although technically Yor is the one that knocked him out because she got mad that he was, you know, kind of threatening Anya, right? So pretty fun stuff there. And then the dog becomes part of the family. And then we kind of have this little side story, or this kind of like finalization of the arc, where they go through this whole deal in order to get, you know, the name of the dog. And the dog is called Bond. And he's this big ass, like, he looks like the dog from Cujo, like a Saint Bernard, but he's all white. And he has a little bow tie because his name is Bond, right? Like James Bond, which is really nice. I like that. I think it's really cute. And the relationship between this dog and Anya is wonderful. I really like it. And it's super cute. And the Wise agents are like, well, yeah, we can kind of keep him around. We'll make sure that he's trained up, and he can be your daughter's guard dog. It can help you with your operation, right? So very nice stuff. And then the short mission number one that we get here is basically Anya and her little spy agency, and she's basically just playing around with her big penguin thing and her little chimera monster thing, and she's trying to make this like spy agency thing, and it's really cute. I really liked it. And then the second mission is Scruffy, aka what's his name, Frankie, practicing how to go on a date with Lloyd, which is pretty funny. I think it's quite cute how they did this, right? And so that's all of the plot line here. In terms of world building, well, there really isn't too much, except for some more of that like Cold War, like what the fuck were the governments of the world doing at that time, right? Because I mean, Anya is more or less a MK Ultra type person, right? She's kind of like the result of that, right? And back in the day, besides doing MK Ultra and all of these really fucked up kind of experiments, the US government was also experimenting with animals to try to create these like guard dog things, right? So the one that's most well known is the dolphin thing, right? Where they tried to train dolphins in order to try to attack submarines and also to guard things in like lakes and stuff. And I think that was relatively successful. I'm pretty sure that modern day military personnel also train with dolphins for some of that stuff still. There's also other things that have happened. I remember watching this like supernatural confessional show on YouTube. I can't remember what it's called. I think it might just be called The Confessionals. And one of the people there was talking about this this like experimentation thing that they were doing, where they were trying to get these melanated jaguars or panthers to become special guard dogs or guardians for this special base in the US, right? And so that's kind of where the this cryptid comes from. I think it's called the Clickiclat cat or something like that, which is this big, massive panther thing. And the reason that they used these was because they wanted to use the natural behaviors of these animals, which was catch something by the water, drag it off to shore, as part of their guarding mechanism, right? And so Bond is basically one of these types of animals, right? But for whatever reason, his special power, or the thing that they tried to make him have, is clairvoyance, and it works out really well. It synergizes with Anya's quite nicely, right? So there's not much world building in that sense, but I mean, I guess we do learn that there's peace, that there's a summit that it tries very hard to maintain this peace, and of course that they're doing dog and / animal testing, right? And I'm curious if there's going to be more animals like this that make themselves known throughout the series, because it'd be kind of cool, right? So I don't know, but we'll see. In terms of characters, we get introduced to Handler, and we kind of learn more about her. Basically, she had a family, and she really likes Anya because of it, because it reminds her of her daughter, but her family passed away or died or something, and that's why she has this like single-minded focus on maintaining peace and stuff like that, right? So it's quite interesting, and we get introduced to Bond, of course, and he's the new family member, and we get to see that Frankie has a lot of issues with his love life, and it's understandable. The way that he talks about it, I don't necessarily feel the same way sometimes about my own love life, but I can definitely understand that sort of like mentality and things that he's kind of thinking, right? So it makes sense. I actually like these characters a lot. I think that they're quite good. And I'm not really sure if these short stories, short missions are actually part of the anime. I feel like they would be like OVA material, right? But I'm not really sure. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments. I really appreciate that. So yeah, in terms of artwork and fan service, I mean, the artwork is amazing. There's no fan service in this arc, if I remember correctly, because I don't think Yor ever dresses in any fancy way. And there's basically no other female characters besides Handler, right? So yeah, I don't think that there's any fan service in this case, which is fine. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just kind of what it is. In terms of a rating, it's a 4 out of 5. It's always fun, but broadly speaking, I don't necessarily think that this is like my favorite arc, right? I like Bond, but this is a pretty mild arc, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys later.